On the fourth day of throws tips, my throws coach gave to me 4 technical tips. I'm just having too much fun with this. Okay guys, so today what we're gonna do is we're gonna break down 4 technical tips. And these are simple things that a lot of times people overlook. Now, every year, one of the benefits that we have is we see people from all over the country. We see every type of ability level. We have developing athletes to national leaders and record-setting throwers coming through and working with us. So we get to see a big range, and then what we also get to see are a lot of common mistakes and tips. So what we tend to see are a lot of common things that some of them are just plain wrong. So tip number 1. One of the core things that you want to do is the concept of the chest up in the finish. So when we have the chest up, remember we talk about this, that it's chest up because of ground position and where the shoulders sit. It is not an active lifting of the chest. So anybody who's thinking come through the finish and lift your chest up, you're going to stop the rotation and what you need with the delivery side coming through. So if you're trying to rotate this through and you throw your chest up, you're actually going to throw yourself back away from the throw. So tip number 1 is understand what it means to have the chest up in the proper position versus artificially cueing the chest up. It is not a cueing position. It is a position-based movement that when you dial the knee and the hip and everything in, the chest is naturally going to be up to be in the optimal delivery position. Now, tip number 2 is when we talk about holding the implements, our first tip, our grip that drops 70. So whether it's discus or shot put, how we hold that implement matters. Now, what am I going to say specifically? We're going to talk about a couple of specific things. One of the reasons people do some weird stuff is because of strength levels and flexibility. So believe it or not, being uncomfortable in how you hold that discus. So the tip was, as we are holding the discus right, a lot of times people do this cue. They want to teach you finger through. What we tell you is everybody's got a different hand size, finger lengths, hand thickness, thumb lengths. I've seen guys with super long thumbs. I've got a long thumb. I've seen guys with short thumbs. And so what you want to do is understand that we teach the L grip. The L grip is how you get that discus here. You want the thumb on the edge and the fingers on the edge here, and that is always going to be specific to you, because the idea with this L grip is that you get more time and pressure applied to the edge of the discus, which is going to create more spin, which keeps the discus in the air longer. So that's your second tip. Your third tip is when I hold the shot. What we talked about, the grip that drops 70, we want to be here, but when we hold here, why do we hold here? Well, now we're starting to look at strength levels and position. So rather than looking at, I just can't hold the discus, you have usually an athlete with a medially rotated shoulder. So when they put their hand up, this is what happens. They can't get their shoulder back to get the discus, the shot put in this position. So your next tip is that when you're trying to do this and you see this, the athlete has to open the chest. They've probably got shortened pec minor and major, right? The minor is the shorter muscle that can immediately pull that shoulder forward. That means rotate it forward, and you get this. This is called protracted scaps, and we want retracted scaps. You want that big chest. So basically making sure that you're doing fly type work, stretching out the pecs, opening up the shoulders, that's gonna help be able to put that shot in this position. So that's tip number 3. Now, your fourth tip that's very simple that we wanna understand on how we wanna apply things is ultimately looking at how we're going to apply our training. So I referenced this in our third tip. We talked about, we call is a 2-position setup. Drills have to be set up. And we teach, every drill we teach you how to set up the proper alignment and the proper throwing chain reaction. Now, some drills have a static start, so there's no dynamic movement to initiate the throw. It's set the position and then sequence it right. Then there's drills that are a combination where we are setting up alignment and then we're setting up the chain reaction, and that's important. Now listen to that first tip. Set up your alignment. Most of the time, I will see so many throwers, especially developing throwers, they're gonna do their positions, and we always evaluate people when they come in, and what they do is they're misaligned. They're lined up to outside the left sector trying to throw this way, but they're technically lined up this way and they don't realize it. So what do? They're lining up, moving this way and throwing this way. And what they're learning to do is constantly split apart at the finish. This is a problem. You have to understand that every drill, so when we talk about our two types of drills, we have how we set positions and then how we set the chain reaction. Once we do that, we're training at a much higher level. Okay guys, so those are your 4 simple tips on your 12 throwing tips Christmas special. So remember, be sure to apply those simple tips. So tip number 1, remember, we have to understand the mechanics and how we're gonna get that chest up at the delivery. It's not an artificial thing, it's a mechanical position thing. And remember, when you train, you don't have time to think, you have time to react, and that's the biggest basis behind the throwing chain reaction system. We show you how to think less and react more, and that translates to bigger throws. The second thing we learned about is how to actually do the grip. We don't think about the middle, it's not a thing. It's a hand specific issue. Some people have big grips, little grips, so we want to understand how to adjust that discus based on your need. Third tip, shot put, how we do it. If we are holding here, a lot of times it has to do with the shoulder. Stretch the chest, open the shoulders, and this is going to help get you in a better position, and your training is going to be so much better. And remember, the 4th tip, we are looking at the 2-position setup. That's super critical. And when you start applying that on all phases of your training, you're training at a much faster, more efficient rate, and that is how you're going to unlock those bigger results faster. Okay guys, so thanks for watching today's tip. Hopefully you're enjoying. If you would like to check out our TCR Method program, live weekly coaching, training plans, bonuses, videos, all kinds of great stuff added to it. We've got a great Christmas special going on right now. Check out the information below, and I will see you for tip number 5 tomorrow. See ya.